All right, guys. Our next guest is the current UFC interim welterweight champion, coming off a huge win over Rafael dos Anjos back at UFC 225. Now looking to claim the undisputed belt against Tyron Woodley. Let's face it, Brazil's #1 public enemy and the king of movie spoilers, Colby Chaos Covington. Welcome to Submission Radio. Welcome back, man. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Just living the American dream.
Tell us, Kobe, are there any movies currently in your sights that you're sort of looking to possibly spoil soon? Any ones that are sort of popping up that you're excited about spoiling?
The thing about that is, I got the nickname Chaos for a reason, man. I'm unpredictable. You don't know when I'm going to spoil a movie. You don't know when I'm going to ruin some MMA fighter's day or some liberal scum of the journalist's day. So, Chaos is unpredictable. I don't know what I'm going to do next.
And I guess it's got to be a big movie. You don't want to be, it's got to be like a Star Wars, Guardians of the Galaxy. You're not spoiling Ocean's 8 because, let's be honest, no one's watching that. And I also feel like you're a little bit misunderstood and you get a bad rap, Really, you're just a huge movie buff and you can't wait to share your excitement with the people. Is that right?
That's right. I don't get why everybody says that I'm trying to be like Connor or I'm trying to be like Chael, I'm doing something completely different than them. I don't see them spoiling two of the biggest box office draws in movie history.
What would you say is your all-time favorite movie, Kobe?
All-time favorite movie is definitely Goodfellas. I love that Italian
Classic.
gang, mafias in New York.
Oh, absolutely, man. Goodfellas is awesome. There's a lot of classics with them. Got to mention, speaking of Twitter, where obviously all the movie spoiling takes place, we saw you obviously didn't hold back on Nick Diaz the other day in response to him venting about the DC Lesnar matchup. Huge story there. What made you want to respond to Nick and go in on him so hard?
He's just acting delusional. He's just putting stuff out there that's just fake news. Come on, bro. You're not going up to heavyweight and beating the natty goat, Daniel Cormier, and he is the natty goat, the natural greatest of all time. So, I had to put him in his place. I had to let him know, if you're so hard, you got there. I'm the 170 title holder, so you want to come back and get a big fight, I'm waiting for you. That's easy money, homie.
What do you make of the fact that it seems like Diaz has been presented with a number of fights to come back to the welterweight division, but he never really seems to take them, and it doesn't even really look very likely that he'll fight again. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that, he's too busy getting drunk, hitting women in clubs, and he ain't got enough time for fighting anymore. He's got bigger issues now. He's got to deal with the law. So, he's been doing the last couple of years is trying to generate hype and keep the hype up so he can get sponsors. It's a joke. He keeps teasing that he's going to come back and fight. No, I want fights and I want this and that. But, he's out in Stockton acting like a scared little bitch.
Would you ever expect him to sort of come after you because of those comments, if the two of you ever cross paths? Because obviously the Diaz brothers have sort of got a long history of, being involved in these altercations and, interactions with fighters.
Yeah, I expect him and Nate next time I see him to be a little hostile and probably try and get their hands on. But the thing is that you could put Nate and Nick in the same room at the same time. There's only one man coming out, and that's me. Nick and Nate have no chance. I'll beat both those scrubs up in the same night. They're little nerds, and they're going to be part of Nerd Bash soon. They're going to be on the VIP guest list for Nerd Bash. No nerd is safe.
Wow, can you imagine that? That would be unbelievable. Nick also said that he started doing MMA because it's not the WWF, and a lot of fighters have been saying this lately, but in reality, MMA, it's sports entertainment, and it's taken a lot of stuff from the WWE from the very beginning, combat sports in general, when you go back to guys like Muhammad Ali and even before that. Why do you think so many fighters, included Nick, in that still sort of cling to the idea that MMA is a pure sport?
The thing is with the entertainment business of fighting is, you got to be an entertainer and you got to sell drama. That's what this sport's all about now. It's not sometimes, the fans don't want to see two fighters that are going to be nice and there's no lead up to it. The WWE style, the model sells. That's what sells pay-per-view. People want controversy, and controversy sells. So whether Nick's saying that he doesn't like the WWF or WWE style, he's been one that's had that persona and that pro wrestling gimmick. He's the one that built controversy. That's how his career was built. So no matter what, if he wants to like it or not, he's copying and resembled pro wrestling.
And I think that's a fascinating thing that you say because, you get a certain rap, but I think that's one of the realest things that you've said. The Diaz brothers, part of their popularity is because people, they like their personality. They like that entertainment side. Do you sort of feel like, that's why guys like yourself and Connor and Chael, you guys do sort of ascend to the levels of, I guess you have so much success because you perfectly understand the mix of not only skills, but, and there's a lot of guys in the sport, obviously, that are tremendously skilled, athletically, amazing fighters, but maybe they're just missing out on that, I guess, promotional side. And you understand both of those things very well.
Absolutely. You gotta draw to the masses, like how did you guys are over in Australia and you knew who I was. So you guys weren't going to me if I didn't get my name out there and reach a bigger audience. You can't just get the casual fan in MMA. That's not that's not the drawing power. You need to draw the people that aren't the casual fans, the people that are in Hollywood, you need to draw, other people to the sport. And that's the promotional side and the marketing side that a lot of these fighters, they don't get, man. You put that, the reason there's no stars, is because these fighters don't know how to promote and market themselves. They don't know how to sell a fight. And that's what the ultimate goal is. And that's what these guys don't understand. You have to sell fights. You have to, there needs to be a bad guy, good guy. That's what creates drama and controversy. And that's what the fans want to see. None of these people are using their time after they get a win in the UFC to sell their next fight. They get on the mic and they don't know how to shoot a promo. They're like, oh, I'll fight anybody the UFC gives me. Okay, man, you want to keep making minimum wage and making your little $10,000 paychecks, cool, but you're not selling fights and you're not getting the fans interested in you. And that's what I do best. I get the fans engaged. If you look at my social media, my engagement is like something of someone who has millions of followers. I'm getting thousands of comments on almost every post. So, I know how to sell fights. I know how to create the angle, and that's what it is. That's what the pro wrestling that they do. They have the angles, and these guys don't know how to create angles, and that's why the UFC is boring these days. And ultimately, that's why Colby Covington came, to make the UFC great again.
And I was going to say, well, you mentioned obviously Lesnar and DC. Do you think that kind of highlights where the sport is and sort of proves the point that, hey, it really is entertainment?
Yeah, 100%. It's all about entertainment. It's a show business. So, you can't just be entertaining inside the cage. You got to be out entertaining on social media. You got to do things to get, fans engaged and get them want to watch your fights. Whether they want to see you lose or they win, it's all the same thing. They're all going to tune into your pay-per-views and buy your pay-per-views. So, the Lesnar and DC thing, a lot of people are saying that Lesnar doesn't deserve the title shot. He absolutely deserves the title shot because, one, this is the entertainment business, and he entertains. He gets that. And another thing Lesnar does is he sells tickets, he sells pay-per-views, and he knows how to sell a fight. So, I think a lot of these fighters should learn from Brock Lesnar and Daniel Cormier.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a big pro wrestling fan yourself. What did you think when you saw that go down at UFC 226? Give us your rating on the Brock Lesnar promo as well. Did you like the way it went down?
Oh, I love the way it went down. I didn't think Brock Lesnar could shoot a promo. Over in WWE, he's got Paul Heyman doing. He's got Paul Heyman doing all the talking for him. So he shot a good promo. He created controversy. He pushed DC and all the fans go ooh. So that's what the fans want to see, and that fight's going to be a big build-up now, and there's going to be a lot of fans talking about that for the months to come until the fight happens.
I know it's early days, but how do you see that fight going? Because a lot of people think DC's probably going to go in there and have his way with Brock Lesnar. Do you see any path to victory for Brock Lesnar, or do you think it's going to be the DC show all the way?
It's definitely going to be the DC show all the way. He's the natty goat for a reason, so I see him completely dismantling Brock Lesnar, but, the beauty of fighting is all it takes is one punch. So, I think it's Daniel Cormier is 99.9% to win, but, there's still that 1.1% that he could win, and that's what makes MMA so interesting. So it's going to be a good fight, and the build-up's going to be sick, so I can't wait to see Brock Lesnar versus DC.
When you mentioned DC as the natty goat, where do you sort of see Jon Jones in that conversation? A lot of people always debating where he fits in when that discussion goes down.
Maybe he's in the GOAT discussion for, the asterisk division. He's got an asterisk next to his name for the GOAT because, what he's done is a proven track record. People are getting mad at me for calling Jon Jones out for the truth. It's not my fault he's got two hookers in the back of his car and he's wrecking the UFC Bentley around a pole when he's got his wife and kids at home. It's not my fault he's in his rental car and he hits a pregnant lady and then he runs for the foothills with his coke and his drugs and his weed and his money. It's not my fault he's failing 2 or 3 steroid tests. So, people need to look at the root of the problem. I don't think you can consider that guy in the GOAT discussion unless you have an asterisk next to his name.
And when you say DC's the natty goat, what exactly do you mean by that? You mean because he's asterisk free?
Yeah, he's the natty goat. He's the natural goat. He's the real greatest of all time because he's never done steroids. He's never had issues out of fighting. You don't see him at the bar getting in fights. You don't see him having legal problems like Jon Jones. So, he's the natty goat, the natural greatest of all time. And that's the real greatest of all time that matters. The greatest of all time with the asterisk next to it, you're always going to have negative and a lot of stuff hanging around that. You can't consider Jon the greatest of all time. DC's work has proven that he's the greatest of all time.
Well, let's talk about yourself because you are the new interim champion. How's life been for you since becoming the interim champ? Have you noticed any differences? What's it like being Covington right now?
Oh, it's the same as before. I get any chick I want. Just now, the chicks are begging for me. They're coming. They're putting a lot of DMs in my inbox. They want to take pictures. They want to get autographs. They want to give the child to me. They're asking to be my baby mama. So life's great. I'm living the American dream. I have a lot of money in my bank account. I can do whatever I want to do whenever I want, and that's what bosses do. So it's a beautiful thing being the world champion.
Where do you keep the belt, Colby?
I can't give that insider information.
We're far away. We're not going to come for it. Don't worry.
Well, soon the belt's going to go to the White House, so I'm just keeping it safe at my house until then, and then eventually, I will be going to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, and I will drop my UFC world title to President Donald Trump in the Oval Office and leave it there for good.
What are the plans around that? Did you guys speak to the representatives over there? Has there been any updates on when you might be able to do that? And have you had any messages from Trump or his people after you suggesting that you want to go up there and meet him?
Yeah, there's been a very positive response. The UFC has been in contact with the White House, so they're just trying to schedule a date that Donald Trump's not busy. He's been at the United Nations meeting. He's been around the world, so he's very busy right now. But as soon as his schedule clears, they're going to get me in. And I have been in talks. Donald Trump Jr., his son, followed me on Twitter. He's been liking some of my pictures, liking my tweets. And he sent me a message, and he's, saying that he's proud of the way I'm conducting myself as an American champion. And, I've gotten a very positive response from a lot of people from the political office. So a lot of people have reached out and just thanked me for what I'm doing. I'm a lot of these athletes that are silver spoon fed are using their platform to destroy Trump, to destroy the red, white, and blue in America. And it's a sad thing. How are you going to go against the country that your freedom and you get all your opportunity and all that money for? Let's go try that act in South America. That's not going to work over there. You're not going to get those millions of dollars. So, I'm using my platform to raise awareness around America, the troops, and President Donald Trump. I'm very thankful to be American. I'm thankful for the opportunities I have, and I know I wouldn't be able to do this anywhere else in any other great country than the free nation of the United States of America.
I know that leading into the RDA fight, you sort of brushed off the notion of, you not necessarily enjoying the interim title. You said, look, you'll enjoy it when you fight Woodley and you unify the belts. But, being a few, weeks removed from your win, has it sort of set in a little bit more that, hey, you are the UFC interim champion and regardless, your name will always be in the history books. Have you sort of, I guess, enjoyed it a little bit more now and appreciated the fact now that it's set in?
I appreciate the fact that I'm the true welterweight champ. I wouldn't consider myself the interim. Tyron Woodley, if you look at the facts, he sat out for a year now. So he's been running, hiding. He's in Hollywood. He's doing his little gossiping, talking about which underwear and which swimsuit the Kardashians are going to wear this week. So, I consider myself the UFC welterweight champion. And until someone else comes and proves me otherwise, I am the UFC welterweight champ.
What is the news on unifying the title with Tyron? Have you guys had any updates? Have you heard anything from the UFC?
We're looking at doing it in November, December. I need a little time off. I got to do a little recovering. I'm only human, man. I got to get a little vacation. I just can't keep running my body through the ground, going through training camps. You have to be strategic, and November, December works for me. I had a little health issues after my fight, so I'm getting those taken care of, and then by the year's end, I will unify my belt and retire Tyron Woodley for good.
I guess the good thing is, he's shown a lot of interest in this fight now. Once you won the belt, he said that he was going to literally try and kill you and that he never in his life wanted to hurt someone so bad. What did you think when you sort of saw him finally show interest in that fight?
He's triggered. He knows that I'm the money fight now, and now he's begging to fight me. He's using his social media platform, and he can't stop talking about me. Every media article that comes out, he just has an opinion about that. And he's saying a lot of fake news. He's saying he's going to end my life. Okay, his last 2 fights, he threw the least strikes thrown in a title fight in UFC history. So the only history that his name's going to be on is for the worst fights of all time. The history that I'm going to make is me making the whole sport great again and going down as one of the most entertaining fighters of all time. So, he's begging for the fight now. I'm the money fight. Everybody wants to see me versus Ty Quill. And everybody knows I'm gonna destroy Ty Quill. He's a race baiter. He complains too much. He's not what a UFC champion should be. So that's why I'm here to make the UFC welterweight division great again. And by year's end, man, you're never gonna hear another word from Ty Quill.
Wow, and it seems like you've gotten under Jon Jones' skin as well because he wants to help Woodley prepare to beat you. What did you think when you saw that?
Oh, man, I couldn't stop laughing. To be honest, Dennis, you fought more recently than Jon Jones and Tyron Woodley combined. So I'm not really too worried about Jon Jones helping out Tyron Woodley. He's not going to be able to show him anything unless he's going to show him how to sit on the sidelines and get fat.
I'm just curious. You mentioned before that you just want to take some time to get healthy and sort of recharge yourself mentally. But are there any injuries or anything that you're dealing with at the moment? Anything significant?
That's something that's not to be talked about right now. But I'll be healthy by year's end. I just have, I need a little time to myself. I need a little time to recharge. I can't just be fighting 6 times a year. I want to fight 3-4 times a year. So, I'm getting my body healthy. I'm getting everything good to go, and I'll be back there in no time. And I'm going to change the sport forever. My next fight, mark my words right now, I'm going to do something that's never been done before in this sport, and I'm going to change the sport forever. It's going to be made great again.
Obviously, Colby, you're a big pro wrestling fan, so I got to ask, Jon Jones and Tyron Woodley sort of ganging up on you, aligning themselves together. As anyone in pro wrestling or sort of who follows the narratives and storylines knows, you don't really want to gang up on someone, especially someone who might be potentially smaller, because then you make them a sympathetic character. Do you find that maybe they're making a bit of a mistake teaming up against you?
Yeah, I think that those guys are such dirtbags and such fake people that people hate Jon Jones and Tyron Woodley so much that it's gonna make me a babyface. And I'm a dickhead. I'm a bad person. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about people's feelings. That's my point. I'm trying to get everybody's feelings hurt. We're in the fight business, and people are too worried about my words hurting them. But I'm going in there to take some dude's brain cells. So, I think it's hilarious that Jon Jones and Tyron Woodley are trying to come out. They're just gonna make me a babyface. They're gonna make me the good guy, and I'm not trying to be the good guy. I'm trying to be the dickhead. I don't care about people's feelings, and I'm triggering people worldwide. So Jon Jones and Tyron Woodley are making a big mistake. And, the funny thing is they're both managed by the same scumbag, the Kawa brothers. So I think Malky Kawa, he doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know how to do business.
If you do run into Jon Jones in the lead up to this fight, I mean, we've seen what happened between you and Verdum here in Australia. Would it be safe to say that you'd sort of let him know what your feelings are if you guys ran into each other face to face leading up to this fight?
I think I'd let him know the same thing that happened last time we were in the wrestling room together. He can't hide from the truth. He knows we used to wrestle in the same room together. We used to bunk in the same room. I used to take him down at will whenever I wanted to. So, he's not going to do shit to me. Jon Jones is a joke, man. The only reason he's a good fighter is because he did a bunch of steroids. So, I'm a clean fighter. I got nothing to hide. I'm as real as they come. I call a spade a spade. So, I don't hide anything. I'm not out here saying that I'm all about Jesus and going and doing coke and cheating on my wife behind her back. So, Jon Jones needs to worry about his personal life, and he needs to get his act together because he's acting like a little kid. He needs to grow up.
And really appreciate the time, Colby. Just quickly, as we let you go, I know obviously you want to sort of see where your body is at and you're targeting end of the year. You mentioned November, December. I mean, November's great because you got MSG. I'm wondering if that was sort of always a dream for you to fight in there. But also December, you've got, I believe, 2 pay-per-views. There's the end of year card as well. Which one sort of do you think would be a better backdrop for this storyline between you and Tyron Woodley? Sorry, this big fight between you and Tyron Woodley.
I think the storyline that makes the most sense, this is the biggest fight that the UFC is going to make this year, and there's still questions regarding when Conor's coming back. Who knows when he's coming back. They don't know when DC is going to fight because he's got a broken hand. So this is the biggest fight the UFC can serve. So if you want to serve the biggest fight between Colby Chaos Covington and Tyron Woodley, they need to serve it up at the world's most iconic arena, and that's Madison Square Garden in Manhattan, New York. So that makes the most sense for the fight. You know, if Tyron Woodley gets cold feet, you know, which I think he will, he's deep down inside, he knows what I used to do to him, and he knows I took his soul at American Top Team. So if he gets cold feet and he backs out, then I guess the perfect storyline that makes sense for the pay-per-view is going to be Toronto against that little syrup sucker GSP. He's been seeing aliens. He's been doing all kinds of things, you know. Who knows what's going on with that guy's head, but he has this expressed interest in wanting another fight. So if Ty Quill can't come together and get his grip together to sign the contract, then I guess I'm going after GSP in Canada, and I'm going to go north to the border, and you know, I'm going to be going and getting some poutine over there. He's getting poutine. I'm getting poutine.
Wow, imagine that. Unbelievable. Guys, make sure to follow Colby on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Colby Cov MMA, and the hashtag NerdBash2018 t-shirts. Where can people get these from?
You can get the Nerd Bash t-shirts at colbycovonlinestore.com. And if you want to join the movement, man, this movement ain't slowing down. This train is going full steam ahead. We're taking over the game. No nerd is safe. So, you know, the thing is all my haters are virgins. So to all the Cheeto-eating dorks out there that are virgins hating on the Nerd Bash movement, go suck it, nerds.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Cole. We really appreciate it, man. Heal up, and we hope to see you fighting soon.
Take care, my friend. Bye-bye.
Take care.